Well, hey there guys, and welcome back. On this week's show, Kenny's got a new compressor. Well, my old compressor is just that. It's old, it's small, it's tired, and at this point I pretty much only use it to fill things like bike tires and my truck tires. So it doesn't get used in the shop very often. But I do need a compressor in the shop because I use it for other things. So I've been researching different compressors, and there are a cajillion of them out there. So I finally decided on one, and what I went with was the Makita MAC5200. Now this thing has all kinds of positive reviews. I found a couple negative reviews, but way more positive reviews from owners that had had this compressor for 8, 10, or more years. So I decided I was going to give it a try. So I thought, just for kicks and giggles today on the Tuesday episode of the show, I would bring you guys along for the unboxing and the setting up and the first initial test run of the machine. This is by no means a review. I do not review tools until I've had a chance to use them for an extended period of time. But what this is that if some of you out there are considering this model of compressor, at least you'll know what to expect upon purchasing it. So without further ado and a little less talking, let's get into opening up this compressor and getting it set up. So I haven't even opened this thing yet. I've had it for about a week. But I don't think we need a video of me opening all of this. So let me get this thing out of its original packaging, and I'll show you what comes inside the box. And once you get all the packaging taken away, which is quite a lot of it, this is what you're left with. This is how it comes packaged, and the oil reservoir, which is right here on the unit, actually has a temporary plug in it. So the first thing we need to do, because these compressors are all shipped without the oil in it, the first thing we need to do is we're going to remove this plug and get the reservoir filled with oil. So here on the reservoir side, we can see right here, this is our reservoir window. And what you want to do is fill up this reservoir until your oil reaches the level of that red dot. Don't overfill it. Just because a manufacturer provides you with a container of oil, it does not necessarily mean that that entire container of oil needs to be placed in the compressor. I will also say that these don't come with a funnel to be able to pour your oil in. So I have my own funnel, and I will add the oil that they supplied. All right, and in this case, what they sent was exactly what we needed, which is just fine, but you just want to be sure. You don't want to overfill the reservoir. Now, the oil that's provided with this compressor is for warmer weather, actually. So in my case, living in Canada, I would prefer to have an oil that is for colder temperatures. So chances are, once the fall rolls around and I've had this thing for a while and it's run and it's broken in and that sort of thing, I'm probably going to do an oil change and change it out for something for colder weather, and probably go full synthetic on this one, just to make that cold weather starting a little easier on the machine. So now with the oil installed, easy peasy, we just place the supplied oil cap into our compressor here, into our reservoir where we took that temporary plug out. And at this point now, we need to run it for 20 minutes for the break-in period. So because of the tank pressure shutoff switch, there's no way that you can run this thing for a full 20 minutes unless you open the drain valve. And on this compressor, it's located right down here at the bottom. We will open it up so that it points down to the floor, and then using this switch on the side of the compressor, we can turn it on and let it run for the 20-minute break-in period. And with that, that is the break-in period done, and the compressor is ready to use. So on first examination of this compressor, it seems to be very well built. Even all of the welds that hold, say, like your air hose brackets here and that sort of thing, they're all solid, nice welds. They're not all sloppy and that sort of thing. So I don't know, that really has nothing to do with the use of the compressor, but it's just something to point out. So let's go through a couple of the features of the compressor, just so you know what you guys are looking at. Well, the compressor is a maximum 3 horsepower with a 5.2 gallon tank. Quite an upgrade, or quite a step up from my old one. It also has a maximum air pressure in the tank of 140 psi, and at 90 psi they claim in the specs that it'll put out 6.5 CFM. Now that is sufficient for small air tools, small ratchet wrenches. Even a 1/2 inch impact wrench will work off 6.5 CFM, just not for a longer period of time. So you want to be careful with that if that's what you're looking to use this for. It has 2 outputs here, 1/4 inch, which is pretty much standard, 1/4 inch air hose female adapters here, and as well it has your regulator. This gauge right here, this is the pressure gauge of your tank, and this is the pressure gauge of your hose. It also has here on top of the tank area, it has this little storage bin for different nozzles or what have you that you can place in here. I don't know, it's a nice little feature. It has very solid carrying handles. I would not suggest carrying this by yourself. The thing weighs something like 88 or 90 pounds, so it's not exactly a light compressor. You wouldn't want to be lugging it around. But you can store, I believe it's 50 feet of hose on this thing, whether it is, the handle is collapsed or whether it is folded down like what it is here now. And it has these cast handles that lock your carrying handle in place. Let me show you how that handle goes up and you can get an idea of that. So this right here is your handle for carting it around, and you basically move these 2 knobs out to the side. Your handle, man, that's a lot more solid than I thought it was going to be, lifts up, and then these handles here lock into place. And now you can use your handle with the wheels that are on it to move it around your job site or wherever you need to move it. Now the wheels on this thing are solid rubber, but they are rugged and they do make moving this quite easy. So I guess my question here is, how long does it take to get up to pressure? Well, why don't we close the valve on the main tank and turn it on and see how long it takes to get to that 140 psi. And with the tank up to pressure at it's actually just a little less than 140, we can just increase the regulator here, which will increase the pressure through our hose. So I'm going to take it up to about 80 psi in the hose, and that for now will be fine for me. So the adjustment seems solid. These 1/4 inch connectors seem dead solid. I like the way that they feel. Nothing on this compressor really feels chintzy or cheesy, so hopefully this will be a good purchase. And while it doesn't really benefit me one way or the other, we do have these racks here to hang your air hose off of when they're not in use. For me, this compressor will probably live folded up most of the time, but even with that, you can still, with the handle folded, you can still have your hose storage here on the back without interfering with the handle. So that's an extra little feature that may or may not pertain to you or may not be of interest to you, but there it is. As well, I see that we have down here on the bottom, we have cord storage for the electrical cord, so that while you're carting it around or wheeling it around, you're not running over the cord and that sort of thing. So all in all, so far, I know it's only been half an hour, but so far I think I'm going to like what I have in this unit. And after I have a chance to really put it through some paces and use it over time, I'll provide you with a review. But for now, if you're interested in this, this is what you're looking at, this is what you get, and this has been the setup of how you get it ready for use. And there you have it. The Makita MAC5200 air compressor. Guys, this compressor so far in the couple of hours I've played with it seems dead solid. It seems to be well built. I don't see anything on it that feels flimsy. I don't see anything on it so far that I don't like. Usually with a new tool, when you first open it, once you start going over it and looking at this and looking at that and poking and prodding, you usually find a couple things that you think, gee, I don't know how that's going to work out. Maybe a guard or maybe a switch or that sort of thing. There might be something that you don't like, but thus far I have seen nothing on this. Now, this tool is, or this video rather, this episode of today's show, this is not a review. I am not stating any kind of opinion as to how this tool functions, only because I don't believe in doing that until I've put it through its paces. In general, it's not one of the things that I do. I don't really do tool reviews on this show, but if there's an interest after I've had this thing for a few years, of course I'll produce it. If that's what the viewers want, then that's what the viewers will be provided with. Either way, I'm hoping this compressor will serve me well, just as my previous one did. I'm looking to use it for things like air nailers, HVLP sprayers, maybe some impact wrenches for working on my truck if that's what needs be at the time. Just that sort of thing, but nothing super heavy duty. So I think that a 5.2 gallon tank will serve me well, especially with the extra high output of the 6.5 CFM at 90 PSI. There are not too many 5.2 gallon tanks in this price range that you will find with that amount of CFM. Either way, time will tell. Guys, I actually got what I think was a half decent deal on this. The retail price here in Canada is $500 for this compressor. I found a place that had it on sale for $399, and then I took that sale price to another retailer who has a meet and beat policy, and they beat it by another 10%. So all in all, I ended up getting this compressor for $359. So, you know what? Hopefully it's $359 well spent. If you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. You click the bell and then you're not going to miss the notifications of future episodes of the show. I hope you've enjoyed today's content, guys. Something a little different from the norm, but that's what the Tuesday shows are all about. Be sure to check out the website at acutabovewoodworkings.com. We've got some new articles up. We've got new viewer pictures. Check it out and see what you think. Drop me a message through the contact page of the website. I'd love to hear from you. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in this week. I hope you found it useful. I hope if you're in the market for a compressor, this has helped you either decide yes or no if this is something you want. And more importantly, I hope you're going to join me again next week when I bring you yet another Alternative Tuesdays.